Um, is it fair to say now that Chelsea could actually challenge for the title? Nah, don't mind me, man. I'm just kidding. Because I know some of you will be like, oh, you're very deluded. Yeah, that would be a little bit of a delusional. But yeah, man, Chelsea 4, Brighton 2. I'm not going to get off on my head to think that we could challenge for the title. Even though inside my head, I'm thinking about it, I'm just not going to say it out loud. But yeah, man, look. It was a weird one still because it's like we did capitalize on each other's mistakes. Because first half, most weird first half I've ever watched. Interesting though. It was really interesting. And a good match, by the way. You know, I gotta say this, right? It's never boring watching Chelsea play. We always display some crazy games, whether we win or we lose. I don't know. It's never boring to sit down and watch Chelsea play. But anyway, let's discuss it, man. It was a weird game because first half, like I said, Brighton did capitalize on the mistakes that were made from Sanchez, which we're gonna talk about him in a minute. But yeah, I didn't think that he. Anyway, like I said, we'll talk about him. So they did capitalize on our mistakes, and I think part of our game, yes, of course, we had moments where we did create the chances. Like I think 3 of our goals, I think we actually did create our chances. But then they were playing this weird high line, which I didn't understand. At some point, I thought I was playing Tottenham because of the highlight. Yeah, man, it was a weird one. You know, it was a weird one. Like we can't deny the fact that Brighton had the most majority of possession. I think they had about 60%. Even 65% at one point, and we had about 35-40%. We can't deny that, and that's the way Brighton plays. Even before this new guy came in, De Zerbi used to play the same way, so they're used to holding possession, right? But at the end of the day, I think Chelsea were the better team in the sense of like chances created and the way we obviously took our chances, you know. And I think we had most shot on targets as well and most attempts as well. So they had the most possession, but we had better chances, and I think we were the better team overall. So this is first half, you know. First of all, let me say this before I forget, because sometimes we get so, you know, like we forget to actually give people or give flowers to the people that deserve the flowers. It's not a surprise that we have to say Cole Palmer, man. Cole Palmer. How many more times do I have to remind you that Cole Palmer is not to be compared with the likes of Bukayo Saka's and Jude Bellingham and Phil Foden? This guy is on a different level, man. Like the way he took the free kick and the way you could have had 5 goals. You could have had 5 goals today. You know, I think, 6 goals. You could have had 6 goals today. Man, we have to, listen, I'm not just hyping him up because he's, he's a Chelsea player, but, you know, I criticize some of the Chelsea players, the likes of Madueke. But Cole Palmer, man, you gotta give the boy his flowers. Now, this was first half, so we scored 4 goals in the first half. I'm thinking, you know, second half, we're gonna count maybe 2-3 more. You know, because I could see the way Jackson was waking up front and the way they were linking up play with Cole Palmer, as always. So I'm thinking second half, we're going to have more goals. But I think from second half, maybe the first 10-15 minutes, we were actually trying to press hard and actually looking for that 1 or 2 goal. But then you go to your point, I think in the 70 minutes or so, I think Maresca was just like to the boys, you know what? There's no point of us trying to kill ourselves. This game is already almost to bed. So let's just try to keep the possession and let's just try to play from the back as well with safety. It didn't really look as though like we were that much threatening as we were in the first half, though we did also create chances in the second half with Pedro Neto and Cole Palmer and Jackson. I think at about two chances that you could have maybe convert them into goals or at least shot on targets. Pedro Neto and Cole Palmer, like I said. So yeah, we did well. I'm happy with our game plan. It came, you know. Now, like always, you're always going to have negatives, man. You're always going to have negatives in a game of football. I think the most negative that I have to give it to Robert Sanchez, man. Listen, Sanchez is the kind of a player or a keeper that I've actually, come to an understanding that in a game of football, it might not be every game, but it'll be maybe every second, third game, he will give you some balls or moments. I don't forget last season when we were playing Arsenal, he gave us that balls or moment to Declan Rice, and then he just, we ended up, we were 2-0 up and we ended up getting a draw in that game. I thought it was 2 points dropped. So he is the kind of a player that, as much as I don't think he should start for Chelsea, it's also hard to say put him on the bench, because like you saw it today, he actually had about 3 good saves that could have been goals if he didn't make those saves. 3 or 4 chances, I think, from Brighton's. So he's the kind of a player you just have to understand to say, listen, he is going to give you that moment, but then at the same time, he also does some nice things. Now, I don't know with Jorgensen, like, would he able to save the chances that Robert Sanchez is able to? Maybe he won't be able to make the mistakes that Robert Sanchez does make, but will he be able to actually protect us from the opponents in terms of their chances creation, in terms of shot stopping? I don't know. We're yet to see. But I would actually give him a chance, because Sanchez, I don't know, man. And it always happens every time we play Brighton. I don't know why. Now, to talk about some of the individual players, I think Caicedo didn't really have a good game today. It was decent, because you're playing Brighton, and again, they know how to keep the ball. So I'm not really going to criticize more on Caicedo. Again, he's a baller. I give him that already. I'm not taking those flowers away. I'm keeping them stocks until I don't know when. Enzo Fernandez, our midfielder, thought at some point it was a bit open, because we could tell when, which is why I'm going to say this point, you could tell when Lavia came on the pitch, it was a little bit different. We were keeping possession more often than we were in the first half, or when Enzo Fernandez was in there. Which brings me to my point. I think if Lavia is fit, I would rather have a midfield pivot, double pivot of Lavia and Caicedo. I think it works better, because yes, of course, Caicedo didn't have a really good game, but then part of it is because Enzo Fernandez was just nowhere to be found, and the way Enzo was losing the ball as well, mispassing, he wasn't good. And I think I've said this more time than I haven't, that Enzo Fernandez is not performing to the level that I would like him to perform. I don't know whether it's the system or it's just the Premier League pace, because when he plays for Argentina, he actually does well. So I think it's just the Premier League that's a little bit difficult for him. But yeah, man, overall, our substitute, Mudryk didn't really do anything. Neto, yeah, he did 1 or 2, but then at that point, the game was already dead. The whole second half. So the 3/4 of the second half, the game was already dead, because we were now just retaining possession. But I thought generally our players did well. I would like to see more, obviously. But yeah, man, don't be surprised if I come back here and say, look, Chelsea might actually be contending for a title, man. Because I didn't watch the Arsenal game, but from what I hear, they struggled to get the win against Leicester City. And then again, Man City with Newcastle, both them teams didn't really do well. They got a point each. So yeah, man, we're gonna dive into this game in a different video. So make sure you follow the channel. Subscribe to the channel and turn your notification bell on, because I'm gonna give you 3 things that we learned from this game, where I'm actually going to dive into the game itself. Right now, we're just in the happy moment. We're celebrating a win. And I don't want to hear about this. No. It's a win today, and we're celebrating. And I will see you guys on the next video. Up the Chelsea all the time. Up the Chelsea.